So Regibor, he is out of the oven and he is cool. The arms, they're now completely cut out. The plastic top, you'll notice I drilled a hole in it. We'll get to that too. I've taken this spool and painted it with this paint. Made this little bottom lip, and I was about to glue this to this, and then I realized that I wouldn't then be able to get that to go in there real well. Bent paper clip. So something horrible happened. I had this whole thing where I was showing you the next few steps and how to make this puppet, and then I was recording it, and then it ate my hard drive, and I had to shut my computer down, and therefore I lost all of it. Can't show it to you again because everything's glued together. Lower lip is glued to the inside spool, which means it's going to be really hard to take it apart, and I might have to. The arms are now glued to the back, and there's this little thing. I cut a small slot in there, and I was very careful with the knife. You can plug that in there, and that keeps the spool from going any further up. Same principle as on the back of Frank, and it keeps the spool, which would normally just fly up to the top because it's a rubber band, keeps it where we want it. I may take the lip off. I don't know yet. I'm gonna have to wait and see. This is part of the process too. Part of the process of making puppets is making mistakes and then fixing them. You learn by making a bunch of mistakes, and something doesn't work, and then you try something else, and you keep trying something else until something works. Now it's time to tear paper. We need to tear lots and lots of paper. I mean, like lots and lots of paper into little pieces. We need different sizes, and you want rough edges, because rough edges are going to blend together and form sort of a solid color. Alright, I think we can all agree that that's a big pile of paper. We've got the cheap disposable paintbrush. You don't want to use a really nice paintbrush because we're going to be working with glue. And we're going to want to work in small batches because we don't want to waste too much glue because it dries. So I'm going to test out on the back here, just taking some glue, painting it on, grabbing a piece of paper, laying it down, more glue, and paint over it. Maybe a little water, more glue, grab another piece of paper, and like that. The first coat is going to go down, and it's going to all have little areas that don't blend in very well because you're going to see the edges where it's overlapping. The second coat will obliterate most of that, and it'll all turn into one pretty much solid color with a really interesting paper texture to it. When you get to the features, you're going to want to use some of the smaller pieces because you need to be able to put glue down and grab a small piece, and you want to get it sort of into the various details first and then smooth them down on the area. And you just kind of work your way around. Take your time, but you can see he's already starting to look more... Yeah! If the paper wants to go there, the paper can live there. I'm okay with that. Paintbrush gets too gluey, dip it in some water. It'll help spread the glue around. It'll help make the paper mold to the shape. So back and forth between glue and water, and you're just making a basic white glue wash. Remember how I said you would make a lot of mistakes? Yeah. Regibor is actually looking really good right now. With paper is going on very nicely, and the contours are starting to pop, and he's looking really great. But I discovered that his mouth was getting stuck a lot. So I took off the bottom lip, which actually came off really easily, and took a bunch of paint with it, and the lip broke in half. But now I can take the puppet apart, and I can do something else. I believe I have a hypothesis as to why the mouth was sticking. Super Sculpey has a very low moisture content. Regular Sculpey, as you'll recall, a much cheaper solution for sculpting, much higher moisture content. Paper absorbs moisture, and when that happens, it expands. Where the Sculpey is, which is where I need the spool to go, isn't any longer that thick. It is, in fact, been squeezed, so now the spool doesn't move anymore. I could either go out and try and find a spool that was a smaller dimension, or I was so close to being done, too. This is all the paper left from that gigantic pile. But
Hi, everybody.
it's Regibor! As you can see, I managed to successfully re-glue the lip back onto the spool, and after shaving the spool, it moves beautifully. And then I finished the papering, I did a second coat and a third coat, and checked for any spots that look kind of weird on camera, and
that's it. That's how to make a Regibor. That's me.
Quick disclaimer. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't remember ever taking any puppetry classes. I don't remember taking any puppet building instructions. I'm making these things up as I go along. You know, the first Regibor puppet was a little tube with the stick on it. And the new Regibor puppet is a lot more complicated than that. But it's also an improvement. And the next time I need to build Regibor, it'll probably be an improvement on this one. There's absolutely nothing stopping you from grabbing some junk and putting it together into something that is a new and different puppet that maybe no one has ever seen before. There's no right answer, there's no wrong answer. If it works, it works. If you can make the puppet do stuff and it looks cool, you win! That's all it is! Go make some puppets! And I'll see you next week.